My name is Alisa Cole, and I am a realtor licensed in Virginia and West Virginia, and I work with sellers and buyers.
Lovely. And just for clarification, do you focus more on commercial, residential, a mix of both?
Residential.
Residential. Okay, cool. Just want to clear that out there. And can we start off with maybe like a background story of how you got started, what led you to the real estate industry, and how you got to where you are today?
I started as an educator. I was licensed in early childhood education, so I taught for 7 years. And I had two biological sons going through school, so it was a great fit for me. And then my husband and I decided to adopt. So we adopted our daughter Zoe, who is now 13. And she was a heart patient, so she had a lot of medical things going on. So I really needed to transition to another career that I could set my own schedule, kind of do things as, the kids come first. So I needed to be there for her, but also be able to still work. So it was a great transition for me to be able to you're kind of also an educator in real estate. So as you're teaching your clients the process and going through, it was very good transition for me. And then we adopted again years later. We weren't planning on doing that, but our youngest also has special needs and was a heart patient as well. So we've had a lot of medical appointments, surgeries, things like that. And it still gives me the opportunity to do real estate at the same time and work with fantastic clients. So it's been a great opportunity for me.
Absolutely. No, I love that the real estate business has offered you and given you that flexibility to be with your family and be there when they really need you, and
Mhm.
also that time for you to have your job and get to your clients. Talk to me a little bit. This might be a little bit off topic, but talk to me of why you chose to adopt and how that came about. I would love to learn more about that.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. It actually goes all the way back to my childhood when my dad and my mom took me to an orphanage in Mexico when I was 8. And I got to see them ministering to the children there. We went and took food and supplies and coats. And my mom made hundreds of hair bows for all of the girls. And it was so impactful for me that I think the desire to adopt was put in my heart at 8. And then when I met my husband and we were dating, we spoke about my desire to adopt, and he also had that desire. So we prayed about it for a long time. And, life happens. We got busy in our careers. We had our boys who are 23 months apart. So we were super busy. And then we just kept feeling that pressing on our hearts to adopt. So it was about a 3-year journey before we brought Zoe home. So it was very special, busy, kind of stressful time,
Yeah.
but really good. Adoption is beautiful. It's hard. There's always trauma and loss in adoption, but it's also a huge blessing for. It's been a huge blessing for our family. It's also changed me forever.
Wow.
I'm a different person because of adoption. I'm a different mom, hopefully better mom. It's definitely stretched me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I say right now, people are always like, you're gonna change your mind. I don't want to have kids, but people are like, you're gonna run out of time. I'm just like, I'm okay with that because I'm okay with adopting. Like,
Yes, yeah.
I also feel like there are so many kids who need help and who are already here in this world who unfortunately were given rougher starts or didn't have the opportunity to be with their biological parents, and
Hmm.
I feel like we could help those kids who are already here. So for me, that's an option for me, because everyone's like, oh, you're gonna run out of time and this. I'm just like, okay, thank you, but I can adopt, and there is that option, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people keep telling me like, I know, but it's like not your own. And I mean, I get it that it's having the experience of like pregnancy and all that. That's wonderful and stuff, but that's just not something that interests me. So I think that's amazing that you were able to have your own biological kids, and also you still wanted to adopt. And that's something that you said you wanted since you were like, or knew that you would want since you were 8 years old. So I think that's
Hmm.
like so powerful. And you must have had such an impactful experience when you went to Mexico that
Yes.
stayed with you.
Yes. Yeah, there are moments in your childhood that stick with you for sure. Hopefully, mostly good. And that was one of them,
Amazing.
definitely. But I think it's awesome that you have the desire to adopt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
So now we can say that we're bringing awareness to that here in
That's
this
right.
episode. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, would you say that being an educator has taught you like how to handle, I guess, clients and even just your own kids, like before you got into that industry?
Yes, absolutely. Studying early childhood education and working with pre-K students, preparing them for kindergarten is multifaceted. So is working with your clients and walking them through the process of selling their home or buying their home. There's so many moving parts in real estate that a lot of people don't see because it's behind the scenes. You're working with probably anywhere to 10 to 15 different people in the real estate world while you're working on one client. And that is, there's so many moving parts. So it really prepared me to be able to educate my clients, explain all these things prior to even starting the
Yeah.
process. When I talk to clients and I meet with them, first they're customers and we sit down and I explain to them. I try not to overwhelm them too much
Yeah.
because it
There's a
kind of
lot.
is like a roller coaster.
Mhm.
There's so many moving parts to, one transaction, but they're people and it's a relationship. So I try to take them from the beginning to the end and how that could look. And then we go through some things that will help them, expectations that will help them along the way, and also how they need to be flexible throughout the
Mm.
process. Flexibility is huge. So,
Absolutely. No, yeah, I agree. I think flexibility on both ends is so important because you got to like schedule out when you can go see the house, when it's
mhm.
available for all of that. Their schedule, your schedule, make
Mhm.
sure that it all fits. So you kind of got to have that flexibility there. And what do you currently see as the biggest challenges facing the real estate industry? And how do you think they can be addressed?
Affordability is a big struggle, especially as I've seen for first time home buyers. I have worked with quite a few first time home buyers. I'm actually working with a couple right now.
Okay.
And there are challenges with the prices going up. Interest rates have also been an issue. They are starting to go down a little bit, which I'm really happy to
That's what I've
see.
heard. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm really happy to see that. But when I meet with, especially first time home buyers, there's so much that they may not be aware of. And we talk about things that can help them get that dream of home ownership and have that pride of being able to own your own property. And so we talk about things that may impact affordability,
Yeah.
may impact their ability to put a down payment, pay for closing costs, or there are programs out there that people are not aware of that can help with those things. So it's been a great opportunity for me to work with those first time home buyers and help them understand the process more.
Absolutely. And what type of resources do you like to use to help you stay up to date with the latest changes and all that? Like books, podcasts, online articles? What do you like to, or maybe you guys have training as well?
Yeah, my local office offers a lot of trainings online and in person. I really find my local lenders to be my number one source of
Okay.
information as far as what is going on with interest rates, what is going on with prices. I follow things online. There are certain companies that I like to follow, and just making sure that I'm aware of the market is constantly changing. Trends are constantly changing. It's very um it's not it's not boring. And
No, that's for sure.
it's also there's something new every day for
Yeah.
me to learn. That's one thing I love about it because I am an educator, but I'm also a student. I'm constantly learning about the real estate world, and every client I get to work with, I have the opportunity to have a new experience because everybody's different.
Yes.
Everybody's goals are different. What they're looking for or what their end goal is. It's just an exciting opportunity for me. It's an exciting career.
No, I love it. And I can tell that you feel that way because your eyes
Mhm.
like open up when you say that's like exciting. I'm like,
Yes, yeah, it is.
okay. And as far as marketing goes, what do you like to do to, I guess, get your name out there or help clients with maybe information or tips maybe that you're putting out there? Or maybe you're not an online person. Maybe you like more word of mouth, meeting in person. I always ask everybody this question because everybody has a different answer. So I just like to know how they're getting the word out there?
hmm A little bit of both. I
Okay.
do some social media. A lot of my referrals have been word of mouth, which has been great.
That's the best kind.
Yes. So I've had clients that have used me multiple times or shared with a friend or a family member, which has been great. Those are my favorite referrals. Some I get from social media. So I like to just, um, you know, get get the word out there, but then also word of mouth is fantastic.
Love it. And how do you build relationships with your clients? Do you maybe like reach out to them and like set up dates to go somewhere? Or how are you, I guess, just staying, how do I say this? How are you staying in touch with
hmm
them or building that relationship and trust?
hmm With past clients, I have an appreciation program. So every quarter, I send them a little gift. I send them a calendar and cards and just try to stay in touch with them so that they know that I'm here. Even after we close, I always tell my clients that I'm here for you, whether it's you need a referral for a painter or you need some work done and you don't know where to go or you have questions about the community. I like to meet people as, before they become a client, they're a customer. So we always talk on the phone. And then I like to set up a Zoom meeting so that I can see them face to face and answer any questions that they may have. And then if they're local, I like to meet in person. So we'll go to a Starbucks or we'll go to a restaurant and meet in person and build that rapport because it's it's a very it's a process that there's so many moving parts. You have to be sure that you and the customer, hopefully a client, are a good fit for each other. So I always tell people I'd like to spend some time with you and build that rapport before you would sign an agreement because it's really a two-way street.
Yes.
We have to make sure that this is going to be a good working relationship because it's you're looking at a 30 to 60 day, most of the time a 30 to 60 day process depending on their timeline. And that also depends on the seller's timeline and what kind of lending they're doing and how many, inspections are we looking at. There's all these different things that make that timeline differ.
Yeah.
So I like to explain that to people and keep in touch with my clients after we close.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. Sounds like you're doing a good job with that. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Um, and currently on your team, how many people do you have, or is it just you solo?
I'm solo.
Okay. Have you ever considered maybe like expanding with a team or getting some help, or are you good on that end?
I have thought about that, but being on my own, I mean, I'm with Century 21 Redwood, but being on my own has really given me the ability to be flexible. So I'm kind of sticking with that.
Okay, very cool. And what do you like to do when you're not in the real estate world? What do you like to do with maybe your family, or what do you like to do with your own time, your me time? I'd like to
hmm
hear what those things are.
My number one thing that I love to do outside of work is spend time with my family and travel. I am a traveler.
Ooh,
So I just got back from Florida.
okay.
My mom and I went to Florida to get a break, which was very much needed. And we went to stay on Disney World property. That was
I'm
fantastic.
sure.
Yes, it's probably my number one favorite place to be.
Oh my
It's just,
gosh.
we call it like the Disney bubble.
The Disney bubble.
So I don't feel stress or anything while we're there. It's just, I can like relax and enjoy. I live in a multi-generational home, which seems to be becoming more popular in this day and age when there's affordability issues. And so my parents sold their home, we sold ours, and had a home built for all of us.
Oh wow.
So at one point there was 8 of us in the home. Now my boys are adults and they serve in the United States Air Force. So we're down to 6
Okay.
people,
Okay.
but it's really given me the opportunity to go and travel and spend time with my mom. She's my best friend. We do so much together. So my husband and my dad are able to watch the girls, get them to school and back, get my youngest to her medical appointments and back. So I love to travel.
Yeah.
I like to read when I have time. And I just started playing the guitar again. I played for years So I'm just now starting that back up because my youngest, she has Down syndrome
Okay.
and she absolutely loves music. That is her love language. She loves music. So I picked it back up
That's so
in
beautiful.
hopes to play to her more often. And then I'm hoping to be able to start being able to play in learning centers and educational settings for children with special needs. That's a goal of mine this next year, is
Wow.
to start playing to other children that have special needs, because music is so soothing to the soul,
Yes.
especially children with special needs. It's just, I can see in my daughter's eyes, she just lights up and she'll scoot as close as she can get to my guitar and put her hand on, to feel the vibration. And
Vibration.
it's
Yeah.
just, it's so special. My dad played, excuse me, for years. And so I started playing when I was 8. And then, as you get to be an adult, you get busy. And I wish
Yeah.
I would have never put it down, but I'm picking it back up
Yeah.
and he's helping me to get back into it. So,
Oh, that's so beautiful. The fact that he like showed you you had like those intimate and special moments with your father, and now like you
mhm,
get to do that with your daughter and build that connection and build those sweet memories together is amazing. And the fact that you like went back to your dad to be like, "Hey, I'm a little bit dusty on my skills. Can you help me out here?" It's like a nice family gathering, like full circle. And now you want to take those skills and go and help other kids who can find healing and just find like something to fill their hearts and their minds with. I think that that
mhm,
is incredible. What
mhm.
made you want to I guess pursue that to like go to organizations or schools and bring awareness, I guess, to music and kids?
Mhm. I've seen firsthand how hard it is to work in educational settings. I also substitute for Frederick County Public Schools, and there's a lot of stress involved in teaching, especially today. There's so many different things that are hard, and especially in learning centers. I'm seeing firsthand it's hard for them to get staff for these children who have so many needs. And I would love to be able to just minister to the children and the teachers and just give them some soft, calm moments of joy. And I think that that's hard to come by these days.
Yeah,
So I think the Lord just put it on my heart, and it's something that I really want to strive to do.
yeah. And are you a strong, I guess, faith-based person? Talk to me
Yes.
about that. Did you grow up with, I guess, your family instilling that onto you? And do you hope to instill that onto your kids and all that?
Yes, yeah. People always ask me, are you religious? And I say, no, I'm not religious. I grew up with a faith in Christ. My dad was a pastor. I grew up in Southern California, and he was a pastor on staff at a larger church in Southern California. So the love of Jesus is what my parents taught me, and it's what has been in my heart for years. And I've been able to share that with my children, and their love of Jesus has grown. It's just a personal relationship with the Lord, and it's really taken me through a lot of hard, challenging times in my life. I
Hmm.
can't imagine doing this life without the Lord's love, honestly. And it's something that's been instilled in me, but then also as an adult you have to say, okay, what do I believe? I'm not a child anymore. I have to take accountability for my faith on my own. And it's been great to be able to share that with my children, and then as they become adults, see them also loving the Lord and seeking his guidance for their life as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. And what have been some of those challenges for you with like maybe transitioning from being an educator into real estate, or maybe just right now in real estate? Some challenges, I guess, just being an entrepreneur
Mhm.
and figuring things out. Like, did you have a coach? Did you have a mentor? How did you um, get through those hard times from anywhere in your life? Just for our listeners as inspiration.
hmm The beginning was very difficult for me just because I didn't have a mentor and a guide. I think one of the biggest things that I can share with people who are thinking about getting into this industry is that your broker, your coach is so very important. I was starting from scratch and pretty much on my own. One of my coworkers helped me through my first transaction, I had no idea what I was doing.
That's how
So
you learn, right?
yes, as soon as I got my license, I hit the pavement and I put out flyers in my old neighborhood. I didn't knock on anybody's doors because I find that awkward
Yeah.
and I don't want to bother people. So I just put the flyer, I typed up a flyer, and I kid you not, the first 2 weeks I got a phone call from someone who lived in my old neighborhood and he was a cash buyer. So it was my
Oh my
first, yeah,
goodness.
my first experience was super scary because I had just learned
Oh,
like contracts and what to do. So my coworker walked me through the whole process.
thank goodness.
And then the brokerage I joined split apart that within the first couple months that I was there.
Starting, yeah.
And it was very drama filled, which I don't do well with that. So I left and joined another brokerage. And I stayed with that brokerage for a couple of years and still did not find the guidance that I needed.
No.
So now that I'm with Century 21 Redwood, my broker, she is amazing. And she has really helped me to just kind of breathe and take a minute and know that we can get through it. If it's difficult, if there's challenges, I know that she will pick up her phone and guide me. So that's huge. I would say to anybody looking to get into this industry, you absolutely need a really good coach and broker.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine like doing it on your own. That would be, I would be terrified, I think, if I did that. So I'm so glad that you had your broker that was helping you and then
Yes.
putting up your flyers and then you got that call, cash.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Like, okay, someone was looking out for you there.
Yes. Yeah. That's when I tell people my first transaction was cash and it was in the first 2 weeks. And then that client was lovely and they've become repeat clients. So that just kind of set the tone for my business, which is fantastic. I was just blessed in that sense. Even though I had zero idea what I was doing,
Hey,
my colleague was such a blessing. So, when you have those moments in life that you know that the Lord's looking out for you, that was awesome.
yeah, no, I'm sure. Like, and I'm sure that's like got you even more excited. Like, wait a minute, that wasn't so bad. I need
Hmm.
another one.
I can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And I think this job has been very stretching for me because I'm naturally an introvert. So it has really taught me to first I needed thicker skin. So that's definitely helped. Um, Communication is huge in this job. And I do think that's a strength I have is communicating. So it's worked really well for me. And just understanding that this is a relationship based business. It's very much about your client and what they need and how they need it. And sitting down and being a listening ear. I have found that being a listening ear for your clients is really important.
Absolutely. No, yeah. It is a very relationship based and like if you can't trust your realtor, if you can't like be honest with them, I feel like that there is just not gonna it's not gonna work. You gotta
Exactly.
like find someone that you mesh well. So I like that you touch on that topic of like building trust and communication because
Yes.
that is so important. You gotta communicate and be able to be like say if you don't like something, you gotta say it
Yes.
back and forth. And same with you, you gotta be like honest with your client and be like, hey, I know you like this home, but
Yes.
that's so important. And being honest with each other will go a long way.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now, is there anything that I have not touched on that maybe you would like to share with our listeners in regards to your personal life, your business, anything at all?
Gosh, we touched on so
I know,
much.
I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
No, I just think I want my future clients to know that I am supportive and I love to guide people through the process. I love helping people. I think that's one of the best parts of this job is when you see the process come full circle from speaking on the phone to doing a Zoom appointment or Google Meet to meeting them in person to start scheduling tours and talking about, home inspections and appraisals and pre-approvals and all those moving
So
parts,
much.
pest inspections and if they have well and septic, there's so many moving parts and getting all the way to closing day,
Wow.
which is fantastic. And watching your clients sign those papers and get the keys. That is such a good feeling because it's such a detailed process. You start from the very beginning and then end. And then when you get a new client, you start all over
Over.
again.
Yeah.
So I just want my clients to know that I'm supportive and I'm here for them.
No, absolutely. That was beautifully said.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to ask you my final question. I ask this to all of our guests here. If you have maybe a saying or a mantra, a quote, maybe a line from a book, or maybe even a movie that has inspired you in any way, if you would like to share that with our listeners, so they can use that as inspiration as well.
I don't have specifically a saying, but I have a word that I use a lot, and that's joy. Life can be so stressful. It can be so challenging. There can be so much heartbreak. And I really try to find joy in life. It's a journey. And my youngest daughter, her name is Lily Grace, and she is joy. She's just probably the most joyful soul that I have ever met. And she has been through so much medically, and she takes it all in stride. She can't Her speech is very delayed, so she can't always express her feelings or pain that she's feeling, and you just see in her eyes joy. And that's really changed me forever. To, yeah, I have problems like everybody else. Yes, life can be stressful, but there is always joy to see.
Wow, that was very powerful. And I just want to say that Lily is so lucky to have such a loving and kind mother like you. I can tell and see the love and the fact that you like talk about your children so much. You can tell that you just love them so much. So thank you for being on the podcast and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.